Did you guys play Mario RPG while he was sick?
We did. I really enjoy it. I mean, it's the Super Nintendo game. Like, if people are like complain like, oh, are they charging $60 for this? It's like, yeah, it's the same game. it's pretty much. But I mean, it is very lovingly recreated, and the 3D assets are gorgeous. Really, and the music is all redone. It's very good. So if you have played Mario RPG and you feel like you're missing out, I would say you don't have to bother. But as somebody who's like my kids who are getting into it, they will, if it's a 2D game, they will ignore it. They think it's trash. They will say that's an old person game. You stink, daddy. And then yeah,
You're a disgrace.
You're a disgrace. But you bring home a repackaged Super Nintendo game in 3D assets. They're like,
yay!
Ooh, yay! This is new and fun.
Has he tried Link's Awakening, the remaster?
Oh yeah, he loves that. He loves
that looks
Link's
like it would be
Awakening.
right up his alley.
Yeah, we did that fairly recently, a couple months ago, and we played through it a few times actually. He liked it so much, and I got him like the Link amiibo and everything. And but yeah, this he likes a lot. He likes that it has like a cool story, and he likes the music is fun. He thinks the music's fun, and it does it does some cutscenes. Add some cool cutscenes to the game, and
that's cool.
So I mean, we're having a lot of fun with it. But I could see if you played a lot of Mario RPG in the past, I wouldn't bother. Like, I wouldn't be worried that you're missing anything because it's the same exact game. It's a little easier though. That's what's actually kind of nice. One for an adult like me, I don't really want to try anymore. So especially if I'm playing with my kids, I just want to breeze through games. And there's also an even easier mode for kids. So if they just want to breeze through the game, it's even called like breezy mode or something. So like because all the mechanics have been updated to be slightly easier, even the normal difficulty. So like you get like you attack and there's like spill damage to other enemies, and you build up a gauge and you can do like a super attack or something like that. A lot of good upgrades, a lot of good visual upgrades, the music upgrades. It's worth playing if you've never played it. If you have already loved and experienced Mario RPG, you probably are not missing much. It's the same exact game.
I've never played. I played about 20 minutes of Mario RPG, and I was kind of enjoying it. I'm famously not really an RPG person, but because of like the pre-rendered graphics and kind of what it is, the SNES sound effects and all that, I always kind of thought like maybe if I were to play this game, wouldn't I want to play it on the SNES though? Or do you think I would prefer it on the Switch?
It's hard to say because it's definitely easier on the Switch. So you might like that aspect of it.
Is it hard? Is the original hard?
I don't think it's especially hard, but if you don't really understand RPGs, you might like underlevel yourself and there might be some trickiness, but I don't think it especially gets hard. Like, yeah, I could get through it when I was a kid. The original looks awesome on a CRT. It's definitely made for that. Like the scan lines kind of round the edges. It does make it look 3D.
I suppose it's just people are excited about Mario RPG because it's one of those games that, because it wasn't expressly a first party Nintendo game, of all the games that would be candidates for this sort of treatment, it doesn't seem likely, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing about it too, is it's got, I think, way better writing than the Paper Mario series. I think it's like so much like snappier and wittier. When I went to Paper Mario, I thought it like lacked something. It's not that it's more adult, it's more intelligent, it felt like.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the Square Enix factor. And because they helped make the game, it's definitely one of my favorite games, and it's so fun to play it with my kids, and they're getting into the story. So
that's great. I tried to play a little bit of Mario Luigi Superstar Saga with Gloria, and she was sort of enjoying it, but it fizzled out fast.
If that's another game. Both those games, the Paper Mario series, Mario and Luigi, like they all like there's a lot of dialogue, like a ton. And I feel like Mario RPG, it has a good amount of text, but I think it's just snappier. Everything's snappier.
I get that impression from it. On the topic of CRTs, Facebook Marketplace just throws them in my face because it knows how I want more and more and more. I have a decent CRT I bought for like $10 from from a Goodwill, from Salvation Army store, back when we did Junt SNES. It's crazy to think, like 2019, these things were going for $10, $25.
It's one of those ones with the built-in VHS.
I love it. I'll take it. $19.99.
Oh, much.
Are you out of your mind? $18.99 for the slightly bigger one. This looks like about what sort of size we're looking for. You put them in a shopping cart and leave with them. And now, because everybody was throwing them out, and now here we are 4 years later, and it's like gaming TV.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Every single CRT is labeled a gaming TV, and they mark it up $100.
Ugh. But I have, as my VHS collection grows, Gloria will see a VHS and she'll go, "Can we watch this? Can we watch like this Mario cartoon, whatever?" And so she'll sit in like the rocking chair in my office while I work, and she'll watch a tape. I'm like, "Well, isn't this adorable?" But there's something about like that TV doesn't get a firm connection to the AV cables. Mm-hmm. And there's also a Laserdisc / DVD combo player that I have. She'll put in a Laserdisc every now and then, which is also really fun. But I have a giant wall of DVDs that do not get played at this point, I have to admit. And I'm like, well, shit, kid. Like, if you want to watch some DVDs, like, we should be able to pop in a DVD. And occasionally, I don't know why exactly. Maybe it's just because of the age of the player, but the DVD player will not play certain DVDs. And so I'm like, am I going to need to buy a 2-in-1? Am I going to need to buy, like, am I going to replace the shitty TV with a, like, there's a model I got my eye on. It's the Panasonic PV-DF 2003. It's a flat screen CRT with DVD and VCR. And I think that would really clean the place up nicely.
There's like I see a ton of the Toshiba ones. There's a Toshiba double ones all the time on Facebook Marketplace.
I can't find this for less than like $500.
There's been a JVC 32-inch TV that I've seen on the Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, ooh, that would be really pretty. But yeah, I just rejected the arcade. I can't be bringing anything else down here. Oh, and then I was fed something that I think is really appropriate for me, is an opium bed, an ornate opium bed. I don't know what this is. It was $25,000, I think. And it was like this, I don't know, it was a Chinese opium bed.
Incredible.
I don't know why it was fed to me. I don't know why anybody has this. I don't know why they're selling it, but it was along with that and Song of the South and my floor model CRTs.
They've got some weird profile of you.
Facebook Marketplace is definitely our favorite social media site.
Yeah, we were saying it tonight. We were like, I think this is my favorite place to go. I think this is my favorite, because you never know. Like I have not bought anything off of it, and I probably never will. But it is just kind of I like to perv out and look at like somebody's strange World of Nintendo service repair center signage for $8,000 that I can go pick up in Braintree.
Yeah, we were joking that we should buy it and do the podcast from it. Call it a business expense.
There was like a World of Nintendo glass case, and EJ was like, we could cram ourselves into it and pod from it. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll write it off as a business expense. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it just like takes out like 50% of all growth.
But it'll be really cool. I saw the list that you sent me, and yeah, I had like Ghostbuster toys in there. It did look very nostalgic, I gotta say.
But that's what always surprises me, though, is these people have amassed these highly valuable collections in their lives, and they just get rid of them. Just enough already.
Probably like dead, dying, and need to downsize in there.
Yeah,
gotta get rid of them.
I remember I ran into a guy at the flea market who had a pretty sizable. He was selling a huge toy collection, a lot of Batman stuff too. He had like Batman memorabilia from every movie, basically going all the way back. And I was like, "You getting rid of all this awesome stuff?" And he was like, "I got so much stuff." He's like, I got to get rid of all of it. Everything must go. But sometimes I wonder, I'm like, the joke is always that my wife made me, my girlfriend made me, or I'm not going to get a girlfriend unless I do. And you got to wonder, like, for wealth distribution when it comes to collectibles and bullshit, I think women are an extremely necessary component. I mean, if they weren't around, people would just hoard collectibles.
It's true.
It's like an economic principle of like, this is the only way that you're gonna, like when people get real uptight about like somebody, you shouldn't just sit on these carts. This is American memorabilia or whatever. I'm like, well, thank God for wives, I suppose.
Yeah, well, it's people who have wives usually live longer because they suggest all the stuff you should be doing.
Yeah, they check you for cancerous skin tags, and they make sure you get rid of your Batman shit.
Yeah,
Sega Lord X just reviewed an indie Genesis release. I think it's not fully out yet. He got a early copy or something, and there's a demo out. The game's called Life on Earth. It's made for the Genesis. It's a new game for the Genesis. Looks beautiful. A lot of parallax scrolling and a lot of sprite scaling to boot.
And the developers loaded it down with parallax scrolling in many of the outdoor areas. And you know me, I'm a sucker for a few layers flying by in the background.
I mean, it just looks really cool, and it looks really fun, and it looks like pure Genesis-ness. And yeah, I'm like 9 minutes into his review, right? This dude normally only does like 11-minute reviews. And he's talking about how cool it is, and the music is top-notch, and all this. And I'm like, but is it fun, Lord X? Is it too fucking hard? And sure enough, like in the last minute and a half of the review, he's like, however, a huge disclaimer. Those of you who want to be able to play your games will not be able to play this. It's too fucking hard.
Life on Earth is incredibly difficult in places. It's the kind of difficulty born from perfectly placed enemies and automatic screen scrolling that leaves you little time to react.
I was like, of course, I just feel like they take all their hard work, EJ, and flush it down the toilet with okay, I understand in the early 90s, 80s, these are arcade ports that were designed to be unfair, or you're trying to get more mileage out of a short game, or maybe it's just inexperienced developers. They just don't know how to make a game that's not impossibly hard. But by now, I thought we learned that the franchises that have endured, the games that sell are the ones that you can get a good groove with. I'm not saying they have to be easy, but you should be able to get a good groove with them. And he's talking about there's some second level where it's like a scrolling level where the fire is chasing you and you have to dodge this maze. And he's just like, yeah, you can't play this level. It's too hard. It took me 40 minutes to beat it, and it was a real challenge.
It took me 40 minutes to beat this one level, and it was dozens upon dozens of deaths.
I don't want to do that. Especially because you made the point, you were like, this is for geezers like Frankie. I'm like, yeah, hey.
But somebody in the Discord was like, oh, but maybe Dark Souls has had this, people are into really hard games. And I think indie games especially have, there's Dark Souls indie games where they try to be as hard as possible. But yeah, I think for something that's a novelty, like recreation carts for Genesis that are new games, I think you should at least have the option for you can complete the whole game, because the people who are buying them are geezers like us who are buying them for the novelty of a new Genesis game, who may not want to be Dark Soulsy. And
it's meant to be, the reason that I still play retro games is because they're pick up and play, because I'm not going to hunker in for the evening deep into the night playing them. Right. I want to, as I've said before, cheap thrills. I want a cheap thrill. And, it doesn't have to be Grimace's birthday for Game Boy Color. It doesn't need to be that easy, but it should be playable. I think Sonic the Hedgehog is to me but then again, I do run into people who are like, you know what game is really hard, that I can't beat, Sonic 2. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That's a pretty simple game.
Yeah, I've been playing Mario Wonder as well, and that's perfect. That's a perfect challenge.
Yeah, I heard some people say, oh, Mario Wonder's pretty hard. I'm like, I don't think so. I think it's some levels are, and you can move on to some different level, right?
Yeah.
There's the whatever it is, the special worlds, which are intention. Yeah. I think Mario Worlds introduced that nice idea of okay, there's going to be a set of levels that are a league of their own.
Yeah, they're going to be radical and tubular.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.